One day, as I traveled along the Styx, I came upon a horrid battle. The guardians of the Styx had entered into a bloodbath, as its heavy infantry, its stalwart warriors covered in a panoply of red armor, were fighting against a horde of demonic entities. I recognized the demons right away, as I had been haunted by them for most of my life, until I was able to master certain shamanic practices. These demons resembled goat demons, but were far more powerful, having builds similar to minotaurs with large horns that curved upward. They existed, not in physical form, but in shadow, their entire bodies appearing as nothing more than the darkest, pitch black, of the void. These shadow demons attacked the troops' heavy infantry phalanx formation, which the warriors had defended themselves with. The shadow demons attacked with their dark talons, the claws of the void, ripping through the phalanx's shields, leaving long claw marks within them and occasionally breaking, though, shredding the shields the phalanx's first rank, taking out several warriors before the troop reassembled the phalanx. The warriors fought back with disciplined counterattacks, thrusting their spears and short swords, glowing with the essence of the sun, deep into the pitch-black bodies of the beasts, leaving glowing red wounds that wore away at the shadow demon's essence. Suddenly, a crack beside the road appeared amidst the battle. A gate from the abyss opened, and from the pitch-black void within it, an immense demon lord emerged. It stood up from a ghouly crouch and started to scan the battlefield with its piercing red eyes, some 14 feet above. It was almost identical to the shadow demons that fought below, but it was twice as large and twice as muscular. At that point, I drew upon the power of my oaken staff. The demon lord attacked, its dark-clawed hand single-handedly shredding the first rank of the phalanx that stood before it. The phalanx broke into disarray as the guardians of the Styx sent its spearmen and swordsmen into the gap in an attempt to secure the breach that the shadow demons were pouring through. I called upon the power of my staff, creating a shockwave that blasted forth solely toward all evil, knocking the shadow demons off the road but doing little to the demon lord that commanded them. The demon lord pursued me, disregarding its troops as the phalanx found opportunity to regroup with the help of the swordsmen and spearmen that held back the shadow demon horde in their chaotic melee that ensued. I froze for a moment as I looked up in awe at the shadow demon lord's immense frame. The demon lord spoke in a guttural tone, saying, "You do not belong here," as it glared at me menacingly, grimacing with its teeth and fangs, saying, "I will have your soul." I answered not to the demon lord, but instead said a prayer, calling upon Shiva, the destroyer of darkness. The shadow demon lord closed in on me, crushing the spearmen and swordsmen that dared to stand in its way. I called upon my staff to protect me, enhancing my aura as best I could as the beast's massive, clawed hand came down for me. Shiva appeared behind me at that moment and placed his hand upon my shoulder as the beast made its attack. A screeching sound went out as the beast's claws scratched across my aura like fingernails screeching across a chalkboard. The horrid sound caused all in battle to pause for a moment as the shadow demon horde stopped to take notice of what had caused the unbearable screech. The demon lord became enraged as it saw its attack have no effect upon me, and at that moment, Shiva, the destroyer of darkness, stepped out from behind me, to the demon lord's surprise. Shiva raised his hand, causing the shadow demon lord to fall to its knees, clutching its horns as it cried out a dreadful howl. It then fell silent, motionless on the ground as its essence disintegrated away, leaving only a mound of ashes. The shadow demons that remained turned and fled, but Shiva's reach did not spare them as they all fell just as the demon lord they had once served. Shiva smiled and gave me a gesture of farewell with his hands before leaving, saying not a word upon his departure. The battle was over and the guardians of the Styx thanked me as they formed up into their defensive ranks in preparation to continue on. This is all for now, and I hope this gives you some clarity on the ways of the lower realms. until another tale is presented. The Dragon Oracle has spoken.